everyone, my name is Alyssa Goodeaux. I'm a connection coach, and I wanted to talk to you today about what that means and what it is I actually do. So as a connection coach, I help people connect to who they are, the foundation of their spirit. I like to call it the light, their inner light. So as God's children, we are called the light of the world. And for a long time, I didn't actually understand what that meant for me. I knew that I had to be the reflection of God's image, and I knew that I had to be, honest and kind and loving and these sorts of things. But I didn't, looking around at the people doing all the work in the church. Some people were doing the tech part, and some people were doing the cleanup, and some people were getting the events put together. And there were just so many different things that people were doing, and I didn't understand what would give me the most fulfillment out of my life. And this carried on into other areas of my life, and my career, and my relationships, and my health. And so what I do as a coach is I help people figure out what their inner strengths are, what their inner weaknesses are, what their core message is, what their fears are, what drives you. What drives you as an individual? What is your core message as a person? And how can we build your relationship with yourself in such a way that you can understand who you are and you can love who you are? Because whenever you understand these things about yourself, you can begin to look at things and understand this is for me or this isn't for me. So for example, in my career, I've been a hotel maid before, I've been an insurance worker before, I've considered going to be a doctor, I've wanted to be a nurse, I've wanted to, there were lots of different things, and you can see that there are a wide variation of interests. And what I couldn't understand was that I was looking at people who were succeeding in these things, and they were happy, and they were people that you look up to. And I wanted that because I thought that would bring me fulfillment. But what I was actually looking for was that it's fulfilling to them because that's who they are. That's their inner essence. But it wasn't my inner essence. And because I was so busy looking at everybody else around me, I didn't understand. I needed to look to myself first, understand who I am, and recognize this person in relationships. This person is for me or this person isn't for me because they don't speak to the truth of who I am. This person is on a completely different path than I am. And more importantly, whenever we start to get into these things, it also reflects on our health. So I was so lost in my life. I had found myself in this pattern of just getting up and going to work on autopilot, and it wasn't fulfilling to me. And because I had been neglecting all of these things for so long and being in unfulfilling relationships, I found myself in a place where I started to struggle with endometriosis. I started having constant earaches and these sorts of things. And all of these things are attached to inner resentment, deep sense of pain, not wanting to face the things that you're dealing with, like all of these things that I had dealt with in my real life, and I couldn't pinpoint what was happening and why it was going wrong. So once we figure out what is motivating you in your life and these sorts of things, we start to also focus on how your physical health may have taken a toll and how you can use alternative methods to support your body. So herbs, essential oils, floral essences, iridology, like all of these things can be beneficial to your body as a whole. It's not to treat or to cure or prevent or anything like that. We just want to support your body as a whole so that way you can be stronger foundationally. You can feel fulfilled in your body and love your body and love who you are. And so if we also do journaling, and we also do figure out meditations, and we build on these things in a way that builds habits over a long period of time. So we start to make your goals into little increments so that over time you can begin to naturally do these things. And it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So let's say that your goal is to be a millionaire. You know, you don't just start working your butt off in no general direction. You need to sit back and you need to have a plan. And you need to be organized, and you need to give yourself deadlines so that way you can start to work on these things. Or let's say you need to work on your boundaries because you don't have the sense of boundaries. Maybe you say yes all the time. Maybe you struggle with saying no. Maybe you don't have enough self-respect and self-value to know that this person isn't for you, and that's okay. Maybe you just don't understand yourself well enough to make clear boundaries for what you do find okay for yourself and what you don't find okay for yourself. So we would start finding little ways to start implementing boundaries in a way that's comfortable, but also in a way that still gets you progress to where you need to go. And it's very bite-sized pieces. It's not all at one time, but eventually, we get there. And it's usually 3 months or so is how long it takes for people to make a transformation that benefits them for their lifetime. And that's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to transform your life so that you can get the most fulfillment out of everything. And you really start to take on a different kind of person whenever you find yourself and you love yourself for who you are. Because everything that you do stems from the relationship that you have with yourself. And so the greatest asset and the greatest tool you can ever have is to really, really know and understand yourself and know that it's okay, I am who I am, and maybe I'm not perfect because nobody's perfect, and that's okay, but I can learn how to be better. Maybe I don't necessarily have the best organization skills, but I can learn how to be more organized, and I can learn how to benefit from that. So if you want to benefit from this, if you want to learn these things, you can go to my website, connectedcoachingacademy.com. You can do the Work With Me tab to learn more about it. And you can also go to the Schedule Now, where you can book a free phone call for an hour to kind of figure out if maybe what are your goals, can I help you with them, if I am able to help you with them, and potentially signing on as a client to help you transform your life. So I hope this was helpful, if this provided some more information. If you have any more questions, of course, you can schedule and just ask questions if that's what you want to do. That's perfectly fine. If you have anything that you've been working on, I would love to hear about it. I would love to know how understanding yourself has benefited you, if you've ever been on this journey yourself. And I would love to hear from you in general. I want to hear from you. So I hope this has been helpful, and thank you so much for listening.